The bell above the door of the Starlight Diner gave a tired metallic sigh. Chloe, polishing the coffee machine, knew its every inflection. This sigh announced Eleanor. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the 79-year-old woman pushed through the heavy glass door, moving with the deliberate slowness of a body mapped by old pains. A limp made her lean heavily on a worn wooden cane. She always chose the far corner booth with the cracked red vinyl because it gave her a clear view of the entrance and the parking lot. Chloe would have her order ready: black coffee and a slice of apple pie, not warmed. The cold makes the apples taste sharper, Eleanor had explained once. Today, however, the ritual felt wrong. A low hum of anxiety vibrated beneath the diner's symphony of clattering plates. It wasn't just Eleanor. It was the two men who followed her in. They didn't belong, islands of cold stillness in the warm diner. They took a booth, ordered waters, and watched. Their gaze was fixed on the small, stooped figure of Eleanor. It was assessment. The way a predator watches prey. Chloe felt a cold knot tighten in her stomach. Her focus was a laser beam connecting Eleanor, the two men, and the door. The back two tables were occupied by 6 members of the local Hells Angels chapter, a wall of leather and chrome. Their leader, a man built like a refrigerator known as Bear, was a center of gravity. They treated Chloe with a gruff, paternal respect. Right now, they were oblivious, lost in jokes. Chloe watched one of the silent men lean forward. She could read the cold set of his jaw. Not yet. Eleanor's hand wrapped around her coffee mug trembled. She was a tiny bird trying to make itself invisible while hawks circled. Chloe delivered a cheeseburger and wiped the counter, cataloging micro-expressions. The flicker of impatience in the younger man's eyes, the way the older one's jaw tightened when a police car drove past. Eleanor finished her pie, stalling. The sky outside turned a bruised purple as a storm rolled in. One man subtly tapped his phone screen. A dark, anonymous sedan pulled into a spot opposite the entrance, its engine idling. They were boxing her in. This was professional, and Eleanor was terrified. Chloe's mind raced. She couldn't call 911 for just a bad feeling. She couldn't confront them herself. Her eyes drifted to the bikers shrugging on leather vests. Asking them was like trying to pet a grizzly bear. But as Bear stood up, his eyes met Chloe's. In his gaze, she saw a weary intelligence. It was the only chance Eleanor had. Chloe intercepted Eleanor as the old woman pushed herself up. "Eleanor," Chloe whispered, forcing a professional smile. "Don't go out there alone. Those men by the window, they've been watching you." The flash of recognition in Eleanor's eyes confirmed it. She had been carrying this fear like a second shadow. "What can I do?" Eleanor's voice was a rustle of dry leaves. "I have an idea," Chloe said. She nodded towards the back tables. "We're going to ask for an escort." Eleanor looked from the bikers to the cold-eyed men. A flicker of iron rose in the old woman's face. She straightened her shoulders and gave Chloe a single sharp nod. The diner held its breath as the limping woman bypassed the exit and walked toward the back tables. The two men by the window stiffened. One put a hand to an earpiece. The other's hand drifted toward his jacket. The bikers paused. They parted instinctively, creating a path to Bear. Eleanor reached him and craned her neck. "Excuse me, sir," she said. "Could you and your friends possibly walk me to my car?" Silence pressed in. Bear's eyes traveled over her shoulder, landing on the two men. He saw their frozen postures and the dark sedan idling in the rain. He saw the desperate hope in Chloe's face. A slow change came over him. "Ma'am," he rumbled, "we'd be honored." Two bikers stepped forward, flanking him. The two men by the window exchanged a look of fury. The younger one started to rise, reaching inside his coat. Bear didn't raise his voice. "I wouldn't do that if I were you." The man froze, seeing a wall of muscle. He placed his empty hand on the table, but his eyes promised murder. The procession began. Bear walked ahead of Eleanor. Two bikers walked on either side, creating a human shield. The soft squeak of her cane was punctuated by the heavy rhythmic tread of their boots. Chloe watched as they stepped into the rain. The dark sedan's engine revved and lurched forward to block the parking aisle. The two men from the diner moved to intercept. "That's far enough," the older one called. "This is a private matter." Bear gently guided Eleanor behind him. "Lady asked for our help," he rumbled. "That makes it our business." "You have no idea who you're dealing with," the younger man snarled. Bear chuckled. "Son, I promise you, it's the other way around." There was no fight. There was only a statement of fact. The bikers occupied space with an unshakable certainty. The two men looked at the three bikers in front and the other three cutting off retreat. They were outmanned. With a final venomous glare, they backed away, got into their sedan, and sped out of the lot. Bear helped Eleanor unlock her car. "Are you all right, ma'am?" "I'm a witness," she said, tears spilling. "I saw something I shouldn't have. I'm scheduled to testify against a powerful man." Bear's face hardened. "Give me your address. You won't be alone again." He looked back toward the diner and gave Chloe a slow, deliberate nod of respect. For the next 4 weeks, a rotation of bikers became Eleanor's silent shadows. On the day of her testimony, 6 of them stood outside the federal courthouse. Her testimony was unshakable, and the man was convicted. The threat vanished, but the bikers didn't. They became her family, fixing her roof and changing her oil. They called her Mama for her 81st birthday. They threw a party at the diner. Bear stood to give a toast. "There's the quiet kind of strength," he said, looking at Eleanor, "that faces down the darkness." He turned to Chloe. "And the strength that sees what others miss." He raised his mug. "To the quiet ones. They're the ones who really change the world."